move
Okay,
forward
well,
here.
let's segue into the main topic of today. And this is going to be a marketing technique that, again, you should be looking inside of your business. Are you using it? Should you be using it? How are the big brands using it? We're going to discuss all of that and our opinion on does it work. So here we go. Let's dive in. It's called nostalgia marketing. We know about nostalgia. We know that. Actually, I saw this graphic the other day, and hopefully we can pull it up on the screen at some point. That it's the music that everybody likes based on their age, and it's like perfect because it's this curve. So when you're born, on the y-axis is how much you like the music, with zero being neutral, positive being positive, obviously, and negative meaning you don't like it. So the music that came out around when you were born is in the negative. It's not. It doesn't. Something like that, and then it keeps going up, and when you're a teenager is when everyone loves that music. So think about the years and the music that came out when you were a teenager, and that 6-year period. Typically that's everybody's favorite music, and then it just falls off a cliff after that. And so when companies bring back something like an old show for boomers, it'd be like they're talking about MASH or something, or Cheers, right? Or they bring out music from the 70s or 80s, depending on when you're a teenager, or 90s, whatever your age is. That triggers something in your mind to remember the good old days and associate it with that product. That's nostalgia, and that's nostalgia marketing. That's what we're getting into. First, I want to get your impression on nostalgia marketing.
Well, I mean, what you just said was so. Look at my shirt. It's Ice Cube. Today was a good day. This album and this song came out. I think I was 13 or 14 years old. And everything you said is accurate. My favorite music was around my teenage years. My favorite show around my teenage years. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, bro.
The specific, by the way, that song is so chill. It's so cool. That was a great Ice Cube song.
Yes, absolutely.
Whenever, if it comes on the radio, it's just like it bumps. Like you turn that's a song you turn up. No matter who,
And
I don't think it matters who you are. Like seriously, that song is just an all time type of just turn it up and enjoy that 3 minutes.
so then what you're saying here is nostalgia marketing can be effective because if you have the right commercial and you put this song on, this song already draws me in. Now I'm going to be I'm going to be in a trance, for lack of better words, where if you have a good commercial, I'll tune into whatever you're trying to sell just because you played this song.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, here's one of the definitions kind of is when a brand brings back a product or campaign from the past, it invokes positive memories and associations, making consumers feel a sense of comfort and familiarity. Now, what more can you ask for? And what an effective strategy, and what a trick, kind of. It's a psychological trick too.
So then that brings us to a few questions here. Um, it's a psychological trick. How do you feel about that? If a company is intentionally going after a certain demo, knowing that, hey, they like this song or whatever it is, we're going to intentionally try to trance you so that you focus on this product.
I think it depends on the product for me. If it's something, I like brands that actually have the end user in mind. I know everyone's trying to make money, but there's a big difference between I'm going to make money by feeding the public high fructose corn syrup and other terrible ingredients and trick them into buying this by saying it's sugar free or like whatever, like a trick. It's literally a trick. I don't like that. But if you're selling something that's uh, Italian pasta that's grown without pesticides, and and some kind of not to be stereotypical, but like the Mario theme song plays, I think that's that's a good thing because you're selling a good product. So I'm okay with that. You could throw it into the realm of politics, which is dirty all across the board. But if someone actually is coming out with like a real message and a real goal that they're planning on fulfilling on, and they're using nostalgia marketing, I'm good with that. But if they're tricking people, if they're lying to people, I'm against it.
That's kind of hard. That's hard to argue with. Then my next question to you would be: Is there, given, have you ever used nostalgia marketing? Um, has there been an instance where it made sense for the type of work you do?
Hmm. That is so actually what I've noticed is that with these tools like Midjourney that are AI developed images, they actually start pulling more nostalgic images. So if
Mm.
we're selling something to, I actually never thought of this before until you asked me this question. There's a brand that we sell to middle-aged women, and we started playing around with Midjourney, and it's all kind of this 1950s post World War II, stay at home, middle class, that type of image, and like it felt right for that brand, and that's totally nostalgic that we used for that specific audience. And I think we're selling a really good product for them. It's like an easy to use software. So yeah, we now that I think about it, we are using it. How about you?
The closest thing that I could, the first thing that comes off my head was, um, I had one of my early successes, big successes, was a car insurance. This is the affiliate days, and people were just trying to sell car insurance leads all the same way. And I wrote this story about like the 5 car insurance tips that they don't want you to know, some story like that, something like that. And the lead story had this character, right, the protagonist, which the reader could put themselves in the shoes of, and they're driving a car, and their grandfather is next to them, right, in the right, and the grandfather's kind of telling them how to drive or whatever. And then, long story short, the grandfather has a bear and he has a joint. The cops pull up. I'm going way deeper than I need to, but the cops pull up and the grandfather says, "Hey, pick your nose, boy." And then the guy's like, "What? What do you mean?" Like, the grandfather's like, pick your nose." And the kid picks his nose, and the grandfather says, "Hey, basically, if you pick your nose and act like you don't know what you're doing, or act like if you're picking your nose at a stoplight, the cops are not going to be looking at you, right?" Because so, anyways, I told it terribly, but it's better written than what I just told you, and it went game busters.
Uh,
But the reason why it did is I think it's because it had that whole me and my grandpa, or like that feeling of some people who had any kind of relationship with their granddad or whoever it was. Like, it had that type of vibe to it. So I think people could put themselves in those shoes, and at the very least, they could put themselves in the shoes of, you have the protagonist and then you have a leader. So you have Luke Skywalker and you have Yoda. It had that type of element. I think that's the closest. I don't think it's quite nostalgia marketing, but that had that type of vibe to it, and it did very well.